Perk? Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about my team's picks for the ABL Season 3. I'm the coach of the Trenton Trevenants, if you didn't already know. So I guess first and foremost, we'll start out with a couple things. If you don't know what the ABL is, it's a competitive battle league, the amateur battle league. This is the third season that we're doing this. It's mostly a VGC-oriented league, so it is double battles. A lot of leagues on YouTube and stuff like that are commonly single battles, so it's not something that that everybody's necessarily used to seeing. And a lot of people that come into the league have never even done doubles in a competitive format before. So it's pretty interesting. So if you want to check that out, I'll put the link to the Discord down below if you guys want to join. You can talk to the coaches there, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, let's get into this. Okay, so first round, I went with, let's see if I could do this right. There we go. Ferrothorn. So my pick in round one, so there's 18 coaches in the league. I was picked 14, so pretty far down the list. I picked Ferrothorn because initially I was going to go with Rotom Wash, and that got picked maybe right before or right after, or right before me, sorry. It was like right before me, the one before me, or the one before that. So I kind of had to scramble. I had Ferrothorn as a backup pick that was still there, so I went with it. A couple reasons why. It's an insanely good defensive wall. You know, you have Leech Seed, you have Ingrain, although I don't think I would use Ingrain, but, you know, Leech Seed leftovers, insane healing ability. You can also run it with, like, Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs. So you get a lot of damage off when people attack you physically, which is especially good because things like Hidden Power do not exist in this game anymore. Hidden Power doesn't exist, so no Hidden Power Fire. Like, so a lot of the threats that, you know, Ferrothorn has are pretty much, you know, laid bare, meaning like you'll know when they come in. When an Arcanine comes in, you know that's a threat. It's not going to be something that like, oh, this might have, you know, Hidden Power Fire. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Also, it's one of the only Toxic learners left in the game. For those of you who don't know, Toxic can't be taught through TM anymore. You have to be able to just learn it. And Ferrothorn is one of the Pokemon that still can learn it through Egg Move. But, you know, they've made Egg Move so easy to get in this generation. It shouldn't really be any big deal. So next up, I've got some notes here, by the way, just so I wanted to make sure that I had a good amount of stuff to say about everybody. The draft did happen a little while ago, about 2 weeks after the game came out, so it's been a little bit. The actual live draft happened today over on Kyle A's Twitch channel. If you guys want to check that out, it should be uploaded to the ABL official channel on YouTube, which I'll have a link to down below. You can subscribe there. If it's not there, it should be there very soon. I'm not exactly sure when this video will be going up, but just keep an eye out for that. So the next one we've got is Rotom Heat. So like I said, I was going to go for Rotom Wash. Wasn't available. And the way the draft works is it starts at number 1, then goes down, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to Coach 18. Now come round 2, it's a snake draft, so it goes back up. So it'll be 18, 17, 16, you know, so on and so forth. So it got back to me quicker than it would have if it was just going around. You know what I'm saying? So basically, at that point, I was like, well, I couldn't get Rotom Wash. I'll get Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat is arguably as good as Rotom Wash. You know, you could argue either way. But it gets access to Levitate, so you lose your ground weakness, which is really, really good. Access to some fire. There's not a lot of fire in this generation, not a lot of good fire in this generation. So picking that up was definitely crucial, and it takes away a threat for Ferrothorn as well. So that helps me immensely. Let's see, what do I have here? That's pretty much it for this one. I mean, I think it kind of speaks for itself. If you know anything about competitive, Rotom Heat, Rotom Wash, they're very similar. There's nothing that I could say about these guys that hasn't already been said. So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on. So let's see here. We've got Haxorus. Okay, so this was my third round pick. There wasn't a lot of big powerhouse dragons left. Haxorus was a Pokemon that I definitely didn't expect to be picking, but it was there. I mean, he hits insanely hard. Sorry, I'm quite parched. He hits really hard. He's got Mold Breaker, which is fantastic because there's not a lot of Mold Breakers in this meta. And if I have one of them, that means somebody can't use it against me to use Earthquake on my Rotom, which is fantastic. Obviously, Haxorus hits really hard, right? He's got a base speed of 97. He's pretty fast, so you choice him up, bam, good to go. And he looks cool. So after that, we've got Gengar. Now, Gengar is one of my favorite Pokemon. If you watch me on Twitch, if you watch me on YouTube, or if you watch me at all, you probably already know this. Gengar has always been one of my favorite Pokemon. And with this generation, he got a really sick Gigantamax form. We do allow Gigantamax in this league. You have to assign it as a captain so people will know what it is going into the match. You can change it during the season. There are points allotted to each coach. They'll be able to switch out their Gigantamax forms. You only have a couple points per season. You can use those points to change your Gigantamax form, make trades, things like that. So they can only do it so many times. But I did elect Gengar as my Gigantamax captain, which I think was a good choice. He gets access to an insane move pool. This man learns grass moves, electric moves, fire moves, psychic, dark, fairy, ghost. Like, it's poison. It's crazy. So many moves. He's really fast. He hits really hard. Great. One of my favorite things about Gengar is his type coverage. It's amazing. You can bring all kinds of stuff to matches that people aren't expecting, like grass moves, like electric moves, like fire moves, like I was saying. He's just really good. You get, with his Gigantamax moves, if you use, I forget exactly what it's called, but it makes it so that the enemy cannot escape from battle. So you essentially shadow tag them, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't know how useful it'll be. It could be useful if I'm using something like Ferrothorn, to sort of like just keep them locked in with Leech Seed going, things like that. So that's obviously a strategy that I could utilize. But yeah, I'm really excited to be using Gengar this season for sure. So next up is most people's least favorite starter. There he is. So we got our boy Inteleon. Sorry, something popped up in the corner. I got distracted. Inteleon. So while starters aren't typically utilized in draft format, for the most part, obviously exceptions like Gengar and things like, or not Gengar, sorry, Greninja. I was literally just talking about it. Greninja and things like that because he has protein and stuff. In this format, we have 18 coaches. There is only one draft pool. There are 400 mons. We have 11 picks. That means that over half of the entire dex gets picked. So you run out of options pretty quick. Inteleon is really fast. He's a good water type. He's a good water move. He has a good water move. He's a good water mon, sorry. He's got Snipe Shot, which is kind of iffy. A lot of Pokemon run Ally Switch in this generation, which I don't know if it existed before. It may or may not have. But either way, Snipe Shot will guarantee that it always hits the target, which is good. Also gets access to Scald, has type coverage for things, like dark moves, things like that. It also gets U-Turn, Sucker Punch, Icicle Spear, Aqua Jet, so priority moves, and the ability to switch out while still doing a little bit of chip damage is fantastic. So definitely happy with this pick. Had things been different, I originally thought of going, my first round pick would have been Rotom Wash and then Cinderace. Because Cinderace is fantastic. Very fast, hits hard, gets access to a lot of really, really good moves. So yeah, that's pretty much why I went with him. So moving forward, for my round 5 pick, I went with Rapidash, Galarian Rapidash, obviously. Kind of a pick that I think is slept on by a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people really realize how good it is. It's got 100 base stat attack, 105 base stat speed, which is really solid. Has access to an insane amount of good physical moves, which is interesting because when you have like physical psychic type Pokemon, they usually don't get access to the moves that they need to be good. This thing gets access to fire moves, fire physical moves, ground physical moves like high horsepower, Psycho Cut. It gets Play Rough. It also gets really good support moves like Heal Pulse, Ally Switch, Trick Room. It can use what are the other ones? There's 2 other rooms. I think it's like Wonder Room and something else, something like that. But it gets those as well. So it has a lot of support utility as well as it can be all-out offensive. So I'm really excited to use this thing. I think it's going to be super cool. Like bringing it with different sets every week, I think it's going to be really fun. So moving on from that, we have Rideon. Now, initially I was going to go with Rhyperior. Unfortunately, my man Kyle A decided that he was going to snipe that from me, which I really appreciate. But no big deal, right? So instead of getting Rhyperior, we got Rideon. With Rideon, we can run an Eviolite on it, and I mean, this thing has stupid defenses. Special defense, regular defense. I mean, I think they're like 140. Do I have it written down here? Let's see. No, I don't have it written down, but I think it's like 140 something. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then with Eviolite, those are just going to go way up. He's really great for things like Rock Slide, I mean, Earthquakes, obviously, things like that. He's just really, really bulky. And he also gets Lightning Rod, which is great for when I want to run Inteleon. You know, keep some lightning off him. Only have to worry about grass, you know, but, you know, it is what it is. I think Rideon also learns like, he learns like Ice, Fire, and Electric. I don't know if it's the bite moves or the punch moves. I have to look. I mean, it could be okay. I'm not really sure. I don't think that's going to be something I'm going to run. It could happen, though. We'll see. So after that, for rounds... Oh, we're on round 7. Round 8, I picked Pacinian. So at this point, we're getting to the point where there's not a lot of top-tier picks left. The top-tier picks kind of dwindled pretty fast, as you can probably imagine, with 18 coaches and only 400-something mons, because we did separate forms for a lot of mons. So I went with Pacinian. He's a good fighting type. He gets Defiant, which is great for Intimidate users. For those of you who don't know, Intimidate is when you send the Pokemon out. It lowers your attack. So Defiant, what it does is anytime that Pacinian's stats are lowered by an opponent, it can't be lowered by yourself or a teammate, his attack stat goes up by 2, and he's got a 120 base attack stat. So he hits very hard. So if I can utilize that with Intimidate, he's going to hit like a truck. It's going to be amazing. So I'm really excited to use him. Glad I got him. I've never really used Pacinian even in like casual play, so I'm definitely excited to get to try him out a little bit. After that, we've got Mr. Rime, which, I mean, he looks amazing. He's got screen cleaners. What do you want? No. Mr. Rime, or Mr. Mime was already picked well before this. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Mime is like much faster than Mr. Rime. Mr. Rime is relatively slow, but he has really good special attack, really good special defense. I needed some ice coverage, so I thought this would be a pretty good pick. And I mean, this far into the draft, something with stats this high I didn't really think it would be around too much longer, so I wanted to pick it up. So there's not really much to say about that. As we're getting towards these last couple, there's not going to be a ton to say because, like I said, we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel as we get to these last 3 picks. Although I do think Mr. Rime was a really good pick. As well as this next one. So for round 10, I picked a Gore. Somehow, I mean, I shouldn't say somehow. This thing is super lightning fast. For those of you who don't know, it has a 145 base speed. This thing outspeeds anything pretty much. It also has Unburden, which makes it even faster. For those who don't know, Unburden is like if you have a held item and you use it, then your speed just goes way up. So this thing is really cool. It has a good special attack, I think. Do I have it written down? I don't. But I think it's like 100 or maybe like 95, something around there. Actually, I have it right here. 100 special attacks. But the thing is, it only has 40 defense and 60 special defense with 80 HP. So this thing is kind of a glass cannon. It's very cool. I'm excited to use it. But it's going to be kind of one of those things where I don't know when it's going to come out. I think it's good, but it's definitely going to be niche when I run it. But I think it was a good pickup. I think I got really lucky with a lot of my picks coming towards the end that I managed to get some stuff that's actually really good. And my last pick is a little bit of a meme pick. Let me see here. There we go, Cramorant. Now, let me just say something real quick. At this point, there is like almost nothing left. Don't get me wrong, people did get good stuff in the last round, but I felt like my team was already very solid, and there wasn't anything that I was necessarily targeting that, or at least that was left of what was there. Another thing, I'm shiny hunting my entire competitive team. I'm not done yet. Like, battles start very soon. I have teams ready. They're not all shiny. Some of them are, some of them aren't. I'm still working on it. So I would say within the first like couple weeks, I should have a full entire 11 shiny competitive ready Pokemon. But right now, I think I have about 5. So this is a Pokemon that I really wanted to shiny hunt, basically. I think Cramorant's really cool. I do want to use it. If we get to a point where, we're not going to make playoffs and whatnot, I definitely do plan on bringing him. I want to use the dive mechanic with the Pikachu and the Barraskewda thing and all that stuff. I just thought he's goofy. I like him, and I want to get him shiny because he's bright orange. He looks amazing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if it was a little bit all over the place. I've never done a draft recap video before besides like live streaming a draft before and commentating on it, which is not quite the same thing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. let me know what you guys think down below. Also, all my matches will be going up on YouTube. It's going to be one round. We join, we play, done. If you guys got any questions about the league, ask down below. I am part of the staff, so if there's anything you want to know, let me know. Join the Discord. The link will be in the description. Thank you so much. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.